What's going on YouTube? It's Tyler here, and today I'm going to compare and contrast Uber Eats and Grubhub as a delivery driver. A little background about myself: I've been a food delivery driver for about 3 years now, with what originally was Order Up, turned into Grubhub last year, and I've done both Grubhub and Uber Eats and can tell you hands-on exactly the benefits and disadvantages of both platforms in case you're trying to make some extra income around the side. Since I'm wearing the shirt, I'm going to start with Grubhub and the good things about it. Now, there's a few good things about it. I wrote down a piece of paper here, so you'll see me look down every so often. The first good thing I wrote down was that you can actually see the amount of money you'll earn per order and where it's going. So when you're on Grubhub, you'll get a notification being, do you want to accept this order going to, for example, McDonald's, and then it'll show you the customer's address and how much you're getting paid. From that standpoint, you can decide, hey, it's worth the $5, it's worth the $7 for me to drive a mile or two. Or if it's a stiffer, someone who's not tipping, you could say, screw this, I'm not going to pick up that order, I'm going to reject it and do the next one. Grubhub allows you to see how much money you're getting each order and where it's going. Now with that, the more a person orders, the more money you have potentially to earn. So if a family decides they want to buy 3 pizzas on a Friday night, you'll end up getting between $10 or $15 just to pick up the pizzas and drop it off, usually within a few miles. And then that can amount to $20 to $30 an hour, which is really good for just picking up food and dropping it off. Another good thing about Grubhub is the hourly guarantee. Now, when you pick up shifts, you are guaranteed at least a set amount per hour. Now, in State College, it's $12 an hour. In other markets, it's $10 an hour. It might be different depending on where you're at. But you're guaranteed money, even if you're sitting on your ass making YouTube videos like I am right now. I'm signed in with Grubhub. I'm guaranteed $10 an hour, though I find most cases you're going to be making more than that $10. You probably make about $15 to $25 an hour. But if it's really slow and you find yourself sitting around making YouTube videos, you're still guaranteed that money. Now, one disadvantage of the shifts needed is the shifts are needed. You have to pick up in hour or hour and a half increments when you want to work. It's not as spontaneous unless someone's dropping an hour at the same time you decide, oh, I feel like working. Now I'm going to start with the bad things about Grubhub. Going back to the shifts and the hourly guarantee, that's actually a disadvantage because you have to have a shift in order to get orders. You can work off the block, but you probably won't get any orders. You'll get very little orders, only if it's very busy. So as a result, you gotta kind of plan ahead, set your hours. In some markets, I find that people are always dropping shifts and you'll be able to work when you want. But in slower markets, smaller markets, you may not be getting the hours you want if you just decide, oh, I'm not doing anything today, I'm gonna work Grubhub. That might not be available to you depending on the market. Another disadvantage of Grubhub is they have the mindset that they want the food delivered as fast to the customer as possible. So it's not uncommon for them to send you a dispatch at 0 minutes in. So when the restaurant receives the order, you'll get the notification to pick it up. As a result, you may be waiting, depending on your market. As I said, bigger markets have the tendency to have you not wait as much because you're driving more. Smaller markets, you're very close to all the orders and the restaurants in State College. You'll be waiting and end up nicknaming the restaurants Slow Tellies, Cafe Slow, just because you'll be waiting and Grubhub will send you a dispatch with 0 minutes in. You'll be waiting at the restaurant. So that's a disadvantage there. Another disadvantage is if you do too many rejects or too many dropped hours, you'll go to partner level, which is the lowest tier. They have 3 tiers, like top tier you get to schedule on Thursdays, mid tier you can schedule on Friday, and then Saturday, which is the partner level, you basically get what's left. You get the scraps of what the other drivers don't want, which can be a lot depending on the market, or it can mean there's nothing left and you're totally screwed. And that happens because you reject too many orders or you drop too many hours when you pick them up and Grubhub bumps you down. As I said, this is totally market depending. I find that in State College when the students are here, doesn't matter. I've been a partner the whole year, not a problem at all, but when the students left, I got no hours at all. I'm relying on people who are dropping them off just to pick up hours. So I find myself trying to accept all the orders I can just so that I can get myself out of that low tier to the higher tier so I can schedule on Friday. Now I'm going to go to Uber Eats. There are some good things about Uber Eats. For example, you don't need any shifts. You can just sign on whenever the hell you want and work. And they will send you orders depending on how close you are to the restaurant. There's no shifts needed. You just sign on and you get orders. You can also opt to do both Uber and Uber Eats deliveries. So if you're driving people and picking them up and dropping them at locations, and you enable to get deliveries as well, you'll also get dispatched Uber Eats deliveries, so you can take a break from dealing with people and pick up food and then go back to dealing with people, especially if there is a surge. Now, unlike Grubhub, where you will find yourself waiting, you will rarely find yourself waiting for an order to be ready when you're dispatched to Uber Eats, because they pretty much have a science where they will send you the order. They see how long it takes a restaurant to get the order ready, so that they send it to you, you just pick it up right away. There's not any waiting. Now, starting with the disadvantages of Uber Eats, you can't see how much the order is when you accept it, and you cannot see where the customer is located at. So as a result, you're just kind of guessing how much you're going to be making. I find that I made about $4 to $5 off each delivery, depending on how far I was going, maybe $6 if it was going a little further, but it was not as much per delivery as Grubhub. Another disadvantage of Uber Eats is that the surge does not apply to Uber Eats deliveries. So if you get a message from Uber saying, hey, work tonight, you're guaranteed 1.5 surge, or the surge is on right now in this area, it does not apply to the Uber Eats orders. So if you see surges in your market and you sign on and you get Uber Eats, keep in mind that the surges do not apply to the Uber Eats deliveries. Another disadvantage of Uber Eats is that the per order is lower than Grubhub, mainly because customers do not really tip on Uber Eats. They just see it as, oh, they're driving, they're picking up, they're dropping off, that's all I have to pay them for. Maybe only 5 to 10% of the time I got tipped on Uber Eats. So as a result, big orders just didn't mean anything compared to big orders on Grubhub, where you would receive a tip of the order. Another disadvantage of Uber Eats is that you only have about 15 seconds to accept the order. And some of you may be saying, oh, that's plenty of time to accept the order. What's someone doing for 15 seconds? Well, if you're multitasking on your phone freaks out and you have to restart or something, you totally miss the order. Or if you are on the other side of the room, you hear your phone go off, you run to catch it. Maybe you can't get to it within 15 seconds, unlocking the screen. If you have a passcode, unlocking that. Grubhub gives you 2 minutes to accept the order, which I think is a fair amount of time. 15 seconds is way too quick. Maybe if it was, regular Uber, I understand that, but Uber Eats, the food ain't going anywhere, and neither is the customer. Another disadvantage of Uber Eats is you can get banned very easily, and let me give you guys a heads up, do not do Uber Eats and Grubhub at the same time. I did them both at the same time, and Uber Eats banned me because they said that it took me too long to deliver the orders, which made sense because I was picking up Grubhub orders while I was picking up Uber Eats orders. But something that made me think about that was a few months ago I had issues with my car overheating, so I have to drive really slow and I would have to take alternate routes so I didn't go up on hills. In the Uber Eats mind, that would make me take too long to deliver the orders and they would ban me for it. Something beyond my control, and me just trying to be a good Uber Eats driver and getting the order done, my car's overheating, there's not much I can do, they'll ban you for that. And with that, another thing I want to mention is their driver support team is awful, and I mean awful. Grubhub may not be that good, but Uber and Uber Eats is awful. I've been messaging them for the last 2 months regarding my case with Uber Eats and getting back on Uber Eats. And they just continue. First they said, oh, it took longer than the estimated time arrival to deliver the customer, and they changed their story to something else. And ultimately now they're just saying, we're working on your order right now. Ooh, I got a Grubhub order, I'll be right back. All right, so where was I? Uber Eats, the driver support is just so bad. I mean, with Grubhub, at least you're talking to a human. Uber Eats and Uber, I feel like I'm just talking to a machine. Now, when they changed their story and said the reason why I'm not allowed to do Uber Eats anymore, they then said too many customers complained and said they didn't receive their orders. There's only one time I drove that I wasn't able to deliver an order. I've driven for 3 years, and I always make an attempt to deliver an order. The reason why I couldn't deliver is because they didn't provide me a complete address. I tried calling them, they wouldn't pick up their phone. Gave it 5 minutes like I was supposed to, and then canceled the order as I was supposed to. I think Uber punishes the drivers way too easily with my example, because if it was the customer complaining that they didn't get their food, and that happened too many times, Why don't they think that the reality that some customers just say they don't get their food so they get the money reimbursed and they blame the driver? There might be drivers out there that are getting banned for no reason just because there are some customers that are dishonest and saying that they didn't get their food when they actually did, but they do it just to get their money back and, you know, get some free food out of it. So Uber, poor customer service, poor driver support, and then just overall poor company in my opinion. So between the two, which do I prefer? Grubhub. Reasons being, I make more money with Grubhub. It's very flexible. Yes, Uber Eats is technically more flexible, but in my market, I can pick up almost every shift I want with the exception of slower weekends when students aren't around. And on top of that, I do like how you can see the amount you are getting paid before you pick up an order with Grubhub as compared to Uber Eats where you can't. And just overall, you know, if you deliver an order late to Grubhub, they might call you just to get an update. They're not going to ban you for it. I mean, that was just ridiculous, and I'm still pretty salty about that 2 months later. But I think for the other people out there that are trying to make a living, that Uber Eats just says, oh, no, you took too long to deliver an order, or oh, a customer didn't receive their order, you know, we're going to ban you. That's not appropriate at all, and it makes me wonder what kind of company they are running. Hopefully this video gave you a good idea what these two companies are like being a driver partner for. As I said, I prefer Grubhub, but definitely try them both out in your market. Maybe you'll end up liking Uber Eats. Maybe you'll end up making more money. There's no problem with signing on both of them, but just as I said, you'll probably end up making more money with Grubhub. And if you're a Grubhub driver and you're happy, just stick with them. You know, you won't really have any problems. If there's anything I missed out on, good things, bad things about Grubhub and Uber Eats, got a Grubhub order, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section. Subscribe. I would love to get the conversation keep going. I always am uploading more videos in regards to Grubhub and Uber Eats. Well, probably more or less just Grubhubs because I can't do Uber Eats. So thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.